Thanks very much, Paul, and hello to everyone, wherever and whenever you're watching this. It's nice to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. Just sticking on page one for now, I should explain that the Yilgarn Craton is where our 5 projects are located. It's a huge craton. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it, amongst other things, contributes the greatest amount of gold royalties to West Australia's coffers. And we're very happy to be here and focused in the battery metals business because we've got some great opportunities. So next slide, thanks, is the obvious one. Do your own research, please, and please interrogate all of our ASX releases for more information. Next page, thanks. Corporate snapshot. We only floated on the ASX again last year. We bought the company Pacific Bauxite out of administration, which was PVX, and immediately rebadged it to Western Yilgarn to reflect the focus of where we're looking for our battery group metals. The company currently has just under 80 million shares on issue, so it's quite tight. And we last week got up as high as 27 cents on the register, which allowed a lot of people to take some money off the table from the original IPO. Although I think they probably sold at a fraction of what the potential value of the company is. 3 directors: Peter Lewis, who's our chairman, a very well-credentialed corporate fellow from Queensland, who's a very nice bloke and very approachable. John Trikos, based here in Perth, in my office with me, non-executive director and a lawyer with a strong background in exploration. And Peter Michael, who's also similarly credentialed in matters corporate, and we have a very good board. Next slide, thanks. The bottom 3 people are the people that I'm most interested in you having a look at here, and that is to look at Bo Nichols, who's our geologist, who has a very visceral understanding of how things get together in the exploration geology front and also interpretation. Stephen Sugden, who's our geochemist, and if you don't have to look far to find Stephen's work about the place. And Kim Frankham, who's a very highly credentialed geophysicist. I'll refer to those people later in the presentation and ask you to go to the next slide, thanks. Our first, and look, excuse me for giving you the whistle-stop tour here, but we've got 10 minutes, so I'll cut to the chase. Julimar West, nickel, copper, gold, platinum group elements and lithium, 70 kilometres out of Perth. Where we are located with Julimar West, if you go to the next page, is the next page, thanks. Thank you. Is that we're in a prime location, 70 kilometres out of Perth. And if you look at the bottom right of our lease area, you'll notice the Chalice Gonival discovery and the Julimar complex, which is just continually being redeveloped. We've got a 349 kilometre project area within the Darling Range. We're about 2,500 metres from Gonival, so our boundary is very close. And the potential for the Gonival intrusion continuing at depth into Julimar West becomes more real every time Chalice release a ASX discovery information or exploration information, sorry, tongue-tied. What we've noticed is that the Gonival intrusion just keeps heading towards us, and Chalice have done an exemplary job of some early stage exploration for us, I guess. The thing I need to tell you is that the state government in WA has kicked an own goal and still not granted us the lease, and this is due to state government hold-ups that are a result of their own systems. And our lease application is in very good standing. We've been repeatedly assured of that, and the state government is working to remove a file notation area so that we can get on with the business. AMEC, the Association of Mining and Exploration Companies, is also a very good reference point if you wanted to find out more information about file notation areas, which is an issue that Chalice also suffers from. Once we get our lease granted, if you could go to the next page, thanks. Next page, thanks. We're interested in just having a look at where the Gonaville intrusion goes. You can see the black arrow to the bottom of the screen that runs 2,500 metres from the edge of the bottom of Gonaville to our boundary. And what we've done, whilst we haven't been able to get onto our lease, is done as much desktop research as we can. So we've firstly identified the potential for that Gonaville intrusion, but also repetitions of that occurring in our ground. We've identified mineralised pegmatites, which is very interesting, and you'll see in one of our releases I'm standing next to a protruding pegmatite. Geoscience WA grab samples also returned significant tin, niobium and tantalum results, along with that anomalous lithium that we're referring to. And what that means is that we've got very, very good potential there, and possibly even a repetition of a Greenbushes type event, thanks to the tantalum that are in that grab sample. One grab sample, but let's see what else is there. There's also potential for gold in the northern section, and I'll ask you to go to the next slide, thanks. And the reason for that is that we've got in the northern part of the lease a different sort of geology, as you'll see from recent Tambora SQM releases, where they are just about a northern neighbour of us. And SQM have invested in there looking for lithium pegmatites, and as I said, there's gold potential. The upcoming exploration program will be a geophysical one, followed by hopefully some soil and auger sampling, and then we'll follow up with drilling where we are able to follow through with. You'll notice that the slide, the photo there, gives you a very good idea of where Gonaville is and where we suspect things are transporting to. And I need to tell you that that is all chalice information that we have that we've republished with Bo Nichols as our competent person validating that. So do your own research, have a good look at that slide, and I'll move on to the next slide. Thank you. Bulga is our project, nickel, copper, PGE, lithium and gold. And you'll see on the diagram there that it's out near Leinster. It's about 40 to 50 k's southwest. And it started off as a fairly compact area of, next slide, thanks, sorry, of 154 kilometres. It is the most advanced project in our portfolio. Now, the reason I said I'd refer back to Bo Nichols, Stephen Sugden and Kim Frankham is that we are very much a company that measures twice and cuts once, and our mantra is to under-promise and over-deliver. So before we send the drill rig anywhere, I'm a big believer in geochemistry based on the advice that I've been given from our experts, and we've carried out an extensive auger campaign, which is where we've only gone down a few metres, but it's to get through the transported cover so that we can get good quality untransported samples that we can send away for assay. And we've done a lot of assaying at Bulga. In the diagram there, you'll notice the solid blue lines down in the Bulga project area, which are the leases that we have actually completed our auger campaign on. It's a couple of thousand holes, and we have expanded that based on the potential that's been demonstrated from 154 kilometres out to 477 square kilometres. And it's a very, very exciting time out there. As I said, it's our most advanced project. Intercepts located over a 9-kilometre trend have indicated a highly fertile and unexplored ultramafic belt. And where we've got to now is 9 separate targets that we want to have a look at. So I'll get to them don't go to the next slide yet, because I just want to point the viewers towards the Bulga project. If you have a look at that Mount Ida fault that the project is sitting on, you'll see that it deviates back in towards the Wahroonga shear zone. And you'll find that we are in an area where there is potential for gold, lithium, and also copper. Some of the names that are very well known: Bellevue Gold Mine, Darlow, Agnew, Lawless, and then we've got Mount Keith, Yakabindi, Sinclair Nickel, and Leinster, which are all highly fertile in the nickel department. And then Kathleen Valley, which everyone's heard about recently, no doubt, which is a major lithium event that's happening up there. Where Bulga's located is in a patch of real estate where people have assumed it's just all granite, but in fact it's described quite competently as a complex structural knot. And the only way we were going to actually find out what was going on out there was to start having a look at what was actually there by being there. So the 2,500 samples, next page, thanks, at Bulga, gave us some very interesting results backwards, including 3 LCT pegmatite targets, 5 nickel, copper, and platinum group element targets, and a lower order gold target. Now, the gold target is up on top of the right-hand side of our lease, and we've got Bellevue Gold as a neighbour there through a subsidiary company of theirs, so that's of interest. It's a soft gold target, but it's a good, it's a very tangible one. We've also had Rio Tinto Exploration come up as a neighbour to the east, and from what I can gather, we seem to have been trendsetters in the area and started to attract interest through our activities. So we've got nearly 500 square kilometres there to have a look at now, and what I might have to do is just finish. If you can go forward 2 slides, please, to the Boudinot project, which I'll finish on because I may have run out of time. 90 kilometres south of Mount Magnet, Boudinot has also delivered on some very, very interesting anomalies. We've picked up more ground to the southwest of Boudinot. The lithium-bearing pegmatites are over a 3 by 2 kilometre area, and we've been able to add another 12 kilometres to our lease area, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in fact it's a very, very specific area that's exactly what we want to see. So that's 3 of our projects. There's more, but there's no more time. So what I'll do is probably hand back to Paul and see how we go from there.
Well done, Gavin. You've got plenty going on, and I'm gonna ask you a tough question off the bat. You have 5 early stage assets. How would you rank them in order of importance to the company?
Great question. We've got obviously Julimar West, which I think the world's magnifying glass is on it. We haven't been able to access it yet, but it is probably the jewel in the crown as something that would be of a tradable value, I guess, at the moment, although we're more interested in hanging on to it and interrogating it and seeing what's there. Bulga is the lease where we have spent most of our time, most of our money, and we've actually generated results. So I think we've got 2 clear leading projects, and another one, Boudinot, right behind it, and then Sylvania is also looking very good based on historical lithium exploration as well, that was discovered back when lithium wasn't glamorous. So we've certainly got some stuff to look at there now that we've got a great agreement in place with the Aboriginal folk in the area.
Yeah, you mentioned lithium pegmites these days, and people get very, very hot under the collar.
Apparently so, yeah.
And then in terms of news flow, where can we expect to see the earliest results coming from, and how quickly?
Look, we had a week or so of results over the last week, where I think if the viewers go back and just have a look at our most recent results, they'll see exactly why the price went up to 27 cents and why there's so much interest. My anticipation, news flow wise, is that the West Australian government, we're assuming is going to sort out our file notation area imminently. And we've also got, I'm expecting some mobilisation information for a drilling program to Bulga once we get that nailed down. Bulga's very early stage exploration, but very, very high potential.
And look, you mentioned about the lease application. Hopefully that will come through. What, if any, are the remaining key regulatory approval requirements across the project portfolio?
Have to wait for the government to tell us that on Dual MR West, because we've learned that, you know, we're in an age now where you know, we're an industry that is very, very well controlled. So what you know is dictated by the government is something I'll tell the market as soon as I find out. As far as Bulga goes, as you say, it's ears back and attack to get moving up there.
Gavin, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Really interesting projects and assets you have, and we'll be keeping a close eye. We'd love to have you back on later in the year.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.